Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a process video for you today. This is going to be card 12 for the full deck challenge. The prompts for this day are yellow, glitter, buttons, and doily. So both glitter and yellow are a little bit outside my comfort zone, so this is going to be an interesting card to do, but I have an idea for it. The first thing that I'm going to do is I need to rough up the surface of this card. I am using the Tim Holtz sanding discs. These attach right to the ink applicator tools. And so I just have one set aside that's got the little sanding block on it, and it just helps to kind of just, make that so that I can adhere some paper. I just want to make sure that, cards are kind of have that slick surface to them. And so I want to use some of these papers that I had in my stash and be able to make sure that these are going to stay stuck down. So I'm just using some art glitter glue here. This is just a white like PVA glue. And I'm just applying this over to on the card and just making sure that I'm getting it all the way to the edges. This is, I believe this is some Felicity Jane paper that I'm using that I've just had in my stash forever. And just putting it on there, and then the glue kind of seeped out the edges, but that was fine. I wanted to make sure that it was all the way to the edge of the card so it would stay stuck down. So then I'm just going to take my scissors and trim around this. You could tear around that, certainly, if you wanted a more rough edge or whatever. And then I have this other scrap. I believe this is, I want to say this is Simple Stories paper. Again, I just kind of dug through my little scrap basket and found a couple of things. And when I think yellow, I don't really think like, super bright yellow. I always kind of think of like mustard yellow. I don't know why. So that's what I gravitated towards for this card. But I did want to add just a little bit of distinction with this paper. So I used some archival ink and ground espresso to distress this paper that I'm about to glue down here, and then I'll go around the outside of the card as well, just to kind of tie everything in together, and just going ahead and trimming off the excess here as well. Again, you could tear this, and I just kind of wanted to keep the edges on this one a little bit neater, so I just glued that down. And here's where I'm going to go around the edges of this card. And you could certainly do smaller card if you wanted to keep some of the playing card part of it visible. That's just not really what I wanted to do for this card. And the other thing was doily. And I just even this smallest doily that I have just felt too big for this card. So I'm going to set that off to the side for a second, because it was at this point I remembered I needed to use glitter. And I am not a glitter girl. I don't really I like metallic things, but I don't really like glitter. It just gets everywhere. I'm just not a fan. And so I don't really have a lot of glitter in my stash, which seems strange, but I do have this. This is from Bo Bunny. These are like a glitter paste, which is something that I am willing to work with in terms of glitter, but I've had them for so long that first color I had, which was like a copper color, was totally dried out. So it was just, hard as a rock, which was kind of funny. But this teal color that I have here, it's a little bit thicker than it needs to be, but I can still make it work. So I'm just applying this kind of to the edges and in random places on this card with the back of a palette knife. I'm sorry, I'm kind of off screen here, but you can kind of see there. And I just kind of kept this over on only where the teal paper is, and then closed that up. And then I'm going to pull out a gold. I also had a gold color that I'm going to use instead of the copper. I was trying to pull in that kind of burnt orange color from that background paper, but like I said, it was totally solid. So I'm going to pull out this gold, and then I'm going to kind of apply this in some random places on the right side of the card, but then I'm also going to use it to fill in a little bit and just give a little bit of sparkle to a couple of the little flowers, the yellow flowers in the background. I didn't want to apply too much of it, but I did want to just, give it a little bit of interest. In the end, some of that actually gets covered up, but that's just kind of part of the process. These were a few things that were kind of just outside of my comfort zone, but that's one of the reasons why I really love the full deck challenge, because they're not things that I would necessarily think all the time to kind of put together. Like doilies and buttons and glitter and yellow would never be a combination that I would just go to in my brain. So it's just really good. It's just really fun, at least for me personally, to kind of be challenged in that way, to see what you can come up with. Some of these cards end up being ones that I really like. Some of them are ones that I am just okay with, it's fine. But again, here I am. I really struggle with this doily actually quite a lot. It was just too big, so I thought, well, I'll tear it down. And I have this, this is a butterfly that I thought I could use for a focal image. This is a Tim Holtz butterfly. And so then I tore this doily up into a smaller piece, and then it was like too small because it got lost behind the butterfly. And I had this other little piece that I wanted to include. This is another Tim Holtz ephemera piece. And then I just felt like that wasn't balanced. And so you can see, I end up playing with this kind of back and forth and around and trying to find the right placement. I didn't want to cover up all the glitter because I felt like that was kind of the whole point of the challenge. So I ended up deciding I was going to just put a little piece down here in the corner, but I didn't like how this one was torn, and this one wasn't going to work either. So I just pulled out another one. I will save those little pieces for some other project. But this way I can get it kind of exactly where I want it, down here in this corner. And I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put these other elements. I know I need to add a button, but I don't really know, with the paper and stuff that I have, where a good place to do that is going to be. I thought I would end it, I would add it like at the end of this little ephemera piece that has like its figure or something. But that wasn't working. So then I thought, well, I'm just going to stick it right onto like the body of this little butterfly. So, and I know that this almost looks more orange on camera, but it actually is more of like a mustard yellow. So anyway, I also decided I needed to knock back some of the white on that doily. So I just used that same Distress ink and just lightly went over that just to kind of make it not quite so bright. And so I'm just adhering this in the corner, and then I just trimmed around the edges, and then I'll go back through and add some distress. In hindsight, I probably could have added a little bit more glitter there too. That would have been an opportunity to do that, but I was okay with it there. So I'm going to start with just adding this little ephemera piece here down at the base in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm just going to make this corner the focal point of this card. So then I'm going to glue down this butterfly. Again, those are Tim Holtz ephemera pieces. And then I will glue this little tiny button right in the center. I'm actually using a different glue for this. This is Helmar 450 Quick Dry. It's just a really strong adhesive that dries really quickly. The other might have worked, but I know that this does different types of materials, and so I know that this will hold this button on there. So I'm just kind of turning it to get it in exactly the place that I want, and that's the end of this. So if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.